Welcome to the Truly Expat Travel Podcast, where I chat with expats about their favourite holiday destinations. Let's be honest, expats are some of the best travellers around, always planning the next adventure, exploring hidden gems, and finding the best spots wherever they go. So who better to ask for travel inspiration? Thank you so much for coming on. A little bit of background. We met not long ago, but it feels like we're old friends. We met at TBEX, a travel conference that we attended in Quebec City. But let's start from the beginning. Who are you and why have you chosen Amsterdam as your destination?
I'm super excited to be here too. So my name's Gerrit. I'm Dutch native. I'm from the Netherlands. I moved quite recently to the Swedish countryside. I run a business called Hidden Holland. So I talk about the Netherlands all the time. I help people create itineraries, improve them, and come up with travel tips. I have a website you can go to. So the Netherlands really is my jam. And what is really funny now, I moved away from it. Now I'm a visitor myself. And it brings a whole new perspective. And I think the Netherlands is a fantastic country to travel to. And I appreciate it now even more than I did actually when I lived there. So yeah, I think it's a really great place to talk about. I also think the Netherlands, Amsterdam in particular, is very stereotyped. And that's, I think, one of the reasons I started my website in with, to really show people that there's a lot more to the country and really make it a much better experience and just see the tulips and the canals and the windmills, which you should definitely go see. But then there are better places than others.
Excellent. That's why we have you on. I'm so excited. So what kind of traveler do you think you are?
Me? Mm-hmm. So I'm a very organized traveler. I really like to know where I'm going. I'm also very independent. I don't like to be on a tour. I don't like to be with a group, but I do like to know what I'm doing, where I'm going. So research, or my better half research. So I'm usually very busy, but still I really know we're doing planning out. We love to go to cities. We love culture, especially now we live in the countryside. And we have nature around us all day long. Our trips really like to go to cities and experience culture. Yeah, and usually we still go out to cities a few days because we need nature. That's why we moved in the first place. So yeah, that's what we love. We love national parks. We love cities. I like the cold. So I'm in the right place. I'm a weird person. Summer's not my favorite season. Yeah, so we won't go to the classic some destinations.
Do you think, so firstly, let's get down to the logistics of it. So how hard is it to get to Amsterdam?
Surprisingly easy. I thought it would be very difficult because we chose a more remote area in the country. By car, it's still a 2-day trip. But by plane, it's quite easy. Norway is just 20 minutes from here. The airport, Oslo, 2 hours. So I drive 2 hours to the airport, and then it's an hour and a half to Amsterdam. So if I leave early in the morning, I'm there before lunch.
Wow.
It pretty much flights every hour. Yeah, it's surprisingly easy and not expensive either. And I travel there every 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Quite a lot.
Is there just one airport in the Netherlands? There's more than one, isn't there?
We are a tiny coastal country, but we do have 5 airports.
5?
5, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But for most people, there's only one, Amsterdam. And then the second one would be Eindhoven, which is a low-budget airport, which they would also advertise as Amsterdam South. You can also advertise it Brussels North. It's a long way. It's 19 minutes. But it can be very convenient because a lot of people live there and you can go to many European destinations. So if you fly low budget within Europe, like Ryanair, EasyJet, that kind of airlines, the EasyJet actually doesn't come there, but low budget, you can also go to Eindhoven. But Amsterdam is for most people here.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And so if I was to say book you, because, you're a tour guide, what would a day or a 2-day itinerary look like in Amsterdam?
So if you book me, the tours I offer are mostly outside of the city. So you book me if you want to go out of the city, you don't want to take care of the logistics, and you really want to see a local side of the country, and the tour buses just will not take you.
Okay.
I offer different tours. For example, one of my most popular tours is to the Krullenmuller Museum. It's home to the second largest Van Gogh collection in the world.
Oh.
But it's inside a national park. about an hour and a half outside of Amsterdam, and it's very difficult to get there. You need to get 2 trains, 2 buses, and then there's a small little shuttle bus. And if you're out of season, it only has 8 seats. And they won't take you, and you're there for another hour. So it's very inconvenient, to say the least. So this is one of the tours that people don't really like to go rent a car. It is a very densely populated country, lots of traffic. So that is super convenient. I pick you up at your hotel. We go there. I can tell you about the museum. I can take you around the national park. I can show you little spots and interesting places that you would otherwise not easily find on your own. So that's one of the most popular. Another one, for example, the Tulip tour. I won't talk too long on because I can talk tulips also all day. But tulips is a 2-year process. And there are 2 areas for each year. So 1 year it grows in this area much better because there's a different soil, which is good for the bulbs. And then for the final growing, for the commercial, for the supermarkets, it needs another type of soil. So it's in another area.
Okay.
But that second area is right near the airport in Amsterdam.
Oh.
So naturally, people want to go, so the tour buses go there. But the problem is those tulips will be cut before they flower because you want them to flower in your home. So I was super disappointed. This looked like grass. So, right, I saw the beautiful tulip fields and this magazine, and now this is all I'm seeing. Now, to mitigate that, the tour companies, they pay a few of the farmers to let them flower and basically let them go bad in the end. They're not going to be sold. So the tour bus can come there for the photos. As you can imagine, if 10 tour buses with 60 people come, try to get your selfie. Yeah. So it's very often a very disappointing experience. So that's one of the things I do with my tours, that I take people out. We go north. We drive for an hour and a half, and I drag them to the real production fields, the first year bulbs, because they need to flower, because they need the quality checks and to see the colors. Height is okay, so they see amazingly big fields with all the colors you can imagine.
Wow.
And the only people that come there, the local Dutch people that bike around and make photos, there are no tour buses because it's too far.
Wow.
So that's what I like to do different if people go with me. Have a much more local and a much more private experience than you would have. I don't do groups, it's private tours. Yeah. And
is it
things like this.
Is it a month? What season do you go to those?
Tulips is a very tight season, and that's one of the biggest mistakes people make. So if you're listening and thinking about the Holland and you want to see the tulips, then you need to pay attention to this, because we have a very famous tulip garden. And it opens about half March, and they extend the season all the way till half of May. But that's not natural. They do all these tricks with indoor and different planting and different types, stronger varieties to make sure the park is beautiful for the whole 2 months. That's what people define as tulip season, which it's not. It's just the garden. That's famous. Listen, I can't speak anymore. The tulips in the fields, they only grow for about 3 weeks. So it's a very narrow window, and it also varies with the weather. So it's very hard to say, but traditionally it's mid-April to the first week of May. Now this year it was a very warm spring, which meant the farmers had to cut them earlier. So the first week of May, there were no tulips any longer. So if you want to be safe, do the last 2 weeks of April, with the last week of April, like the golden week. So that's the week to book. And then it's also King's Day, so you can also experience that. So it's a great week to be in Holland, but that's the week for tulips.
Okay. And what other seasons would you suggest people to come to Amsterdam or Holland in general?
So if tulips are not really of your interest, avoid April and May, because it is extremely busy and it's high seasons and the prices are at the highest.
Okay.
Summer is another very busy season, July and August, when Europeans have their summer holidays, especially August, when all of Southern Europe has their holiday at the same month. All the Italians, the French, the Spanish, they all come in August. So skip August. I really, personally, March, September is also a great month to come. If you want to see the tulips, you need to accept the higher prices and the people, because it is incredible to experience it once. So, that last week of April, absolutely. In August, we had Pride, which is quite a spectacle in Amsterdam with the boats. It's on the canals. If that's something you love to go see, then the first week of August is also great. But otherwise, I would go with not the off season, but just outside of high season, are the greatest months. if you're coming for culture, which is a really big thing in Holland, it's one of my favorite things also to go to the museums and learn about, hear the stories. The museums are so extremely popular that you really want to consider winter months, which is a very weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Because nobody comes, and you actually want to come because of that reason.
Yeah.
Because it will be darker, it will be a bit more rainy, it will be colder. It's not that cold as people think it is. It will not freeze. It will not be like minus something. It's fine. And the museums will be empty. If you really want to be with that Rembrandt painting or Van Gogh painting and really enjoy it instead of being 8 rows back with a selfie stick, you really want to consider those quiet months.
That's
Okay, very long answer to say it is a year-round destination. There's different times for different people.
But that's what I like. I actually like to hear off seasons, except for obviously with the tulips, you have to go and do it once because that's on top of it's my favorite flower. So it's on the top of my to-do list. It is. It's I wanted to.
Well, you need to come and I can take you there. I would love to.
That would be amazing. Yeah. Because the last time I was there, it was June and it was hot and there was lots of people and exactly what you said. It was too many people. Not June, sorry, July, the end of July. So it's just
July, yeah.
Yeah, it was just really, there's a lot of people. We actually went for a U2 concert. That was the reason we went and then just fell in love with the place. So I stayed a couple of extra days.
A wonderful place. I think that's one of the other things people don't really realize that summers nowadays get really hot in the Netherlands. They don't think it as a warm destination. It's more like a trade-off. I want to see the museums or I want to experience this. I will take the weather. But the weather in summer is actually quite nice and I would say very warm.
Yeah.
Warm for my liking. So last week there was 38 degrees Celsius there. That's hot. That's hot. Yeah, that's another thing to consider like a little bit the earlier or the later months.
Is there a food that we need to try or a drink that we need to try while we're there?
Because I just finished, actually, I updated my post again on the 50 Dutch fruits to try.
Ooh,
so there is a list.
Okay.
So we have a name about that our food is very boring and very uninteresting and another reason to go, which I would defend forever. I do not agree. But so one thing I would say, if you want, I can go with the classics like the stroopwafel cookie, which is like a waffle cookie, which is fantastic. I can say that. But one thing people also don't realize is because of our colonial past, Indonesian and Suriname food became very much Dutch. Oh, okay. And I would definitely go try that because there's not many places in the world where you can easily have access to Indonesian or Suriname food. Yeah. When you're in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands, it's literally all over the place.
Wow.
And it's very tasty. So that would be a tip I would give you on food.
And what about drinks?
Drinks.
You love your beer there, don't you?
I was going to say, there's one area that I'm not very Dutch.
Yeah, that's right. You know,
I know how famous we are for beer, but I cannot give you. Yeah, I'm not very helpful in that area. But we do have a very active beer scene. I think it's quite fantastic if you like it. Of course, Heineken is what the world knows. And there's a Heineken experience where you can go on like thing in Atlanta. So there's that. But there's all these local breweries and they do these tours in Amsterdam. They take you to all of these local places, these microbreweries and tastings. That's a really fun thing to do if you like beer. So there's a lot to experience there. My home city, Amersfoort. By the way, a great tip if you come to the Netherlands, everybody stays in Amsterdam, get out because the cities around it are so much more beautiful. Amsterdam. So if you think Amsterdam is amazing and beautiful, then I would actually argue that there's more beautiful places. And one of them, I would say, is Amersfoort. And no tourist gets there, so you also get away from because you've been to Amsterdam, it can feel crowded.
Yeah.
So if you get out of it, it's so much nicer. Amersfoort is one of those great examples. And they have a brewery going without ever closing since the 1300s.
Wow.
So being there will be quite an experience.
Yeah, that would, I don't even drink beer, but I would drink beer if I was.
I would even drink it too. Yeah, they probably something. They have, they do have other drinks. I'll say that's a thing. There's a converted church in Utrecht, which is hidden because Catholicism we always had freedom of religion in the country, but there was a time when only the state religion was allowed publicly, the rest need to be indoors.
Oh.
So Catholicism, for example, needs to be indoors. So there are these hidden churches around the country In Amsterdam, it's a really famous one, Lork on the Attic. It's a beautiful canal house. On the top floor is a complete full-size church with an organ, benches, different floors. It's insane. You can visit it as a museum.
Yeah.
But in Utrecht, what they did, they converted it into a Belgian beer bar. So you can taste all of these Belgian beers, but there's the organ and it's the church and the songs you should sing on Sunday, the benches. So it's a really cool experience. So there will be a few beer suggestions.
That's very cool.
I can still give some beer suggestions, even though I don't drink it.
And is it hard to get around? Like trains is the easiest way to get around, besides bikes. Obviously, you're known for your bikes.
Besides bikes, article about why not to ride a bike. Because you're right, it is a mode of transportation for every Dutch person. That also makes it a very dangerous mode of transportation. Because we go on speeds that cars have difficulties to reach. We carry around our IKEA packages, our children, our grocery shopping, all at the same time. And we go with 40 kilometers an hour through the city. We have very low regard for traffic lights and rules when we're on a bike. So for tourists, it is a very scary place to be in. So I would actually not do it. If you're going to do it outside of the city, we have bicycle paths. Every single motor road has a bicycle path separate from the roads. That's very safe.
Yep.
And it connects all the cities and towns. So that's a great way to see the Dutch countryside. So that's what I definitely do. Don't do it. Getting around is super easy on public transportation, especially if you're from North America. That is the weird concept, correct?
Yeah.
Because public transportation is usually only if you do not have a car, or it's not the preferred method of transportation. In Europe, it really is. Your car is really a handicap to have. There's old cities, there's no parking, there's many traffic rules. Parking fees are astronomical in Amsterdam, up to €100 a day.
Wow.
To park your car. So, you really don't want to have a car. Then even a taxi, there's all these one-way streets. If you go from the airport with a taxi to your hotel, it can take you easily 45 minutes. If you take the train, it's less than 20. So you really want get your head around public transportation. The trains run very high frequency all around the country. Pretty much every town is connected by train. Then there's an excellent bus system. That's also something people confuse. I see a bus to Utrecht and a train to Utrecht. And some take the bus, some take the train. Do not take the bus because it's a local thing. It's meant to connect the villages around stations. So it's a day trip. If you take the bus to Utrecht from Amsterdam, it will be an 8-hour journey. If you take the train, it will be a 25-minute trip. Don't do that. But so the trains is the way to go. In Amsterdam, you have the tram system and there's an underground system. So public transportation is fantastic. The park I talked to you about in the beginning, if that's a place you want to go to, then a car is actually a better choice. Or if you're not comfortable, to get a private driver or a tour guide. So there are places for car, but for most things you want to do, the train is your.
And it's really easy. You can get it from the airport.
It's super easy. Today, they accept contactless payment. So you just tap your payment.
Okay.
Get on the tray, you tap it when you leave. You don't need to get a ticket. As long as you're traveling standard class, which are blue seats, by the way, then you're good to go. So it is super easy. They're high frequency, so you don't need to worry about what time does it leave. Tickets are not, a lot of countries have tickets for specific departures. We don't have that. It's only for the date. So you can take any train on that day, only when you have a discounted ticket, which tours usually don't have access to. There's restrictions on travel times. But for most people, you can just take any train. The train is super easy. It's also convenient. You don't have to worry about driving. You can read up about your destination and your things to do. So I personally also love to travel on the train. When I lived there, I owned a car, but I only used it maybe once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now when I'm there with my car for tours, I will use the car for tours. But
that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah.
And to get from the top to the bottom of the country, does it take long?
Oh, they're called it. I'm sorry, it makes me laugh. No, the Netherlands is so small. People let it get fit in your hand. It's true. So the longest journey you can take from all the way up north, a city called Groningen, you take the train south to Maastricht, which is the city in the south, most southern part. That's about a 3.5-hour journey.
Okay.
But because most people are in the middle of the country, in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Utrecht, in that triangle, in the middle, we can go about an hour and 45 minutes north, and we can go an hour and 45 minutes south, and that's about it. An hour east and you're in Germany. You cannot even go an hour west because you will be in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's a very tiny place. It's slightly bigger than Singapore, but not that much. So that's also great. If people are on the fence, should I make day trips? I don't get that much time. Or is it going to be complicated? It's because the train system is so well organized. It is our most favorite topic to complain about. And we have, I think, after Switzerland, the best system in the world. So it's safe, it's easy. As long as you just behave like you're traveling in big cities. You're aware of your surroundings. You don't leave your luggage unattended. And that's what tourists tend to do. Or they put them in the luggage racks in the train. And then there's pickpockets and things like that. But if you keep things safe, nothing will happen to you. It's used by locals. It's not for poor people. It is used by everybody. Even at night or in the evenings, you don't have to worry about it. You can confidently go on it. Take it. If you miss a connection, there will be a next one in 10 minutes. There really is not. It is super. There's no stress involved. If you cannot find the platform, then pause and just look around or ask an employee at the station and take the next train. Don't think, oh my goodness, I have 6 minutes. I'm not going to make this. Oh, we're going to miss this. There's a fight between your spouse and you. There's no need for it. That's the nice thing about you're not booked on a train. There's always the next one. And it's not 4 hours later. It's a few minutes later. So really be relaxed about it. Take it and just enjoy it. Because like I said, the most beautiful places are actually outside of Amsterdam and outside of the stereotypes that we're known for.
I did also find that most people in Amsterdam spoke English, so you can ask questions.
Yes.
So that also is super helpful for a tourist when you are lost. I always get lost. No matter where I am in the world, I always get lost. Yeah. It's very helpful.
It's funny, I get lost too all the time. Oh my goodness, like I still remember being in Paris and I've seen every single street, I think, in the city of Paris and still did not find my hotel. And there nobody speaks English, so it was a very different experience. Or Beijing also happened to me there. Also not a great place to get lost. Anyway, no, the Netherlands, you can get lost all you want all day long. You will be fine. First of all, everything is so small, you will always exit. It's almost like a park. I always tell people to go to Delft, because Delft is one of those beautiful little cities. Do not have a plan. Do not go on Google Maps and mark all your things. Just go, because actually every turn, every corner is like a wow moment. It's a photo moment. There's always a cute little store. There's something to go into. And it's so small. It's maybe 10 streets in each direction. But you always exit at some point. And you go back in. And it doesn't take you more than 30 minutes to reach the edge.
And it's
really do allow yourself to get lost there too.
It's quite a walkable city, isn't it? It's very quite
Amsterdam
flat.
is super solvable, walkable. Every city pretty much is walkable. We do have hills, but you need to go all the way south.
Oh.
All them mountains, but we're so happy and proud to have that. So those are our mountains. One really cool one actually connects three countries. So there's the three-point Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands. That's a great little trip you can take from Maastricht in the south. But back to the language, everybody speaks English. If there is language barriers, it's culturally, the Dutch are very known as direct. Now, I am not a Dutchman any longer. I live in another country. I am realizing this firsthand every single day with the new people I live with. It's very interesting if you live in another country that you really miss certain cultural upbringing, which brings a very different perspective to everything. This is normal, and then you realize, oh, it's actually not normal here. Anyway, so now I come back to Holland, I see it also more. We are very direct. Should we really say it like that? But that's a thing the Dutch are, but a just helpful, practical level. English, you should not worry about it. Everybody speaks it. The older generation might have difficulties, but they will still try, and they will still be able to get you in the right direction. And the Dutch, we are very much known for being cold, for being unkind, for being direct, and for being arrogant. It's
really
very weird because we're also gezellig, that untranslatable words, which means we're fun and cozy, and you have these free parties and King's Day and everything very relaxed. It's and I think the reason why we have that the BBC did the whole thing about it.
Really?
It's really, but I think the reason is we tend to stay private. So you need to approach people to make contacts. That's one thing you need to do. Get a question, ask it. If you look confused, there will not be somebody approaching you and say, do you need help? Actually, if that happens, I would be very afraid. that's a thief or it's somebody with bad intentions. Ask for help if you need it. You will see that's very helpful. And we're very direct. If you ask us for our opinion, you will get it. If you ask us how we are and we don't feel well, we will tell you. And it's very awkward because you're like, this was just small talk. And now you're a therapist. So, do not have that question because you will get the answer. You just say hi or nice meeting you. And we are not as direct to saying, actually, it's not nice meeting you. We will not go that far. But we do say, if you ask me, do you like this sweater? And I don't like it. I tell you that color is actually not your best color. And it's help. We think it helps because we want to save you from disaster, but it's not always conceived as helpful. So that's the thing. Yeah. And the other thing is Dutch is it's also very direct in a good way. If you make contact and they live right the corner, they can invite you for a beer and they mean it. Or if there's an expat, you're there a little bit longer and they say, I have a party this week and come over. It's not to be nice. They mean it. So also do not answer like, I'll think about it if you already know it's a no.
Okay.
Dutch person interpret that as, that sounds interesting. I think, that sounds interesting. Also, that goes very wrong in business conversation. It's a no, but they think, they thought it was interesting.
If you could give one tip or advice to anyone who's thinking of coming to the Netherlands, what would it be?
Get out of the city.
Okay.
See Amsterdam because you have to. Do the canal tour. Do the things you have to do, but then get out as soon as you can and plan a few days extra. But there is so much more to see than people realize. So many people come to Amsterdam either because they have an event, but I would say almost 8 out of 10 come because they're on a cruise. Because Amsterdam is a big, or Holland is a big cruise destination, a starting point. So they come on a cruise and they have 1 or 2 days to spend. And I have not spoken to anybody yet who did not regret only having 1 or 2 days. And my tour guests also the last couple I had, the guy that if I knew about this place beforehand, I would have not even booked Amsterdam. And I'm not saying do not go there, but I'm saying it's a really great vacation destination, especially if you love architecture, old city centers and museums. It's the place. It's really a fantastic place to go to. So take your time to also enjoy it.
And how many days would you recommend for a first timer coming to the Netherlands?
So 3-4 days would be a really good start. If you just do the city, I would say 3 days. If you also want to go out, I would consider 5 if you have that. If you don't, 4, so you can at least take 1 day out of the city.
Yeah.
The other thing I really recommend doing who come for the first time, do not book the 2 big museums on the same day, which a lot of people do.
I did that.
And let them go.
I did that.
It's not very pleasant.
No, it's not.
The Rijksmuseum has 82 rooms. People have no idea. And that's one of the other things. Do your research if that's something you like to do. I see so many people getting into that museum with 82 different rooms. Yeah. You can go there for days without seeing it also, let alone 2 hours. And what people do, they don't know where they are. They go to the first room, which is religious art from the 1400s, beautifully technically, but I find it personally very boring. So I go to 2 or 3 of them and then, okay, I'm done. And then you go to the next and you make yourself tired. It's dry air. You usually are still a little bit jet lagged, so you get more tired and actually did not ever see the highlights or the topics that interest you.
Yeah.
Because if you love cat pictures, I can give you cat pictures at the Rijksmuseum. But if you're into model ships, I make sure you see them. If you're into jewelry, we go there, Dollhouse. So it's not just paintings. And people don't know that. So there's a Harry Potter library there. People don't know it's there.
There?
There is. So it's such a cool place. But you need to already know where you want to go before you go. So I do, for example, itinerary planning calls. So that's a topic we can talk about on a call like this. What are your interests? What are the things that you like? And I will get you to those rooms. But there's a lot of stuff online you can do. The Rijksmuseum has an amazing website. They also have tours for first-timers on there that you can download for free and take them when you're there. So there's a lot of information available. But that's a tip I would give. Then do the Van Gogh another day, because when you get out of the Rijks, you're done with paintings. I guarantee you that. And then there's another 3 million people to conquer at the Van Gogh Museum. Okay, I will stop giving tips, but one more. Book your museums first thing in the morning when they open. Those are the days you want to get out of bed early.
Okay.
Early does not mean 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
Okay.
I tell my customer all the time, book it early. And then they're like, I didn't, Gerrit. I booked it for 10:30. No, that is sleeping in. Cancel your ticket. Do it again for 9. Now, and make it sound funny, and I know you're on vacation, but the experience is just 10x better when you can just be in a quiet room and actually sit with the story and the painting and see the details and go a little bit closer and take a step back and just share it with 5, 6, 7 other people instead of, and I'm not exaggerating, 70, 80 people per painting. And you're just pushing each other. It's just a completely different experience. So go
early. That's great tips. One a day. And also, especially with the Anne Frank Museum, book in advance, like well in advance.
That's another great tip. Book it well in advance. The Anne Frank Museum is a very complicated museum to get into. The reason is it's a hole. It's where she hid. It's a ring on the upper floor in a narrow canal home with narrow stairs. There's no elevators. There's no modernization. They left it as it is. So the capacity is very limited. Also know if you have mobility issues, this is not a place you want to go to.
Okay.
But if you do want to go, the way they do with tickets, there's no ticket office. So there's no way to get tickets on the last minute. There just isn't. Because they don't have space even for a ticket desk. To have somebody there. That's the thing. You need to book in advance. They only release it exactly 2 weeks in advance. 2 months in advance, on a Tuesday. They book it, and then 8 weeks later becomes available for that whole week after that. You need to, my advice is a few weeks before that 8 weeks, go online, see what's available now. So get an idea when you need to book yours, when you're visiting, mark it in your calendar. I know even with time zones, get out of bed. Even if it's 2 a.m. for you, and it sounds ridiculous for a museum, but especially in the busy season between May and August, it can sell out within 1 or 2 hours from being released. Unfortunately, there's also ticket collectors that are active, so they go online and they then offer them on third-party websites for a lot more money. Please do not buy them from them, although you really want to go. I heard people that told me they did because they really want to go. But if you buy, you will only keep the system existing.
Correct.
So please do not do that. The museum, if they find out, they will cancel those tickets and you will have an invalid ticket. They really do not want it. Nobody wants it. So please go to the official channel, but be there on time. So you beat those people. There's a limit on the amount of tickets, so they cannot do it automatically. There's always tickets available. But and for the European time zone, it's midnight when they're released. At the time you're awake, it's too much time that has passed.
Yeah.
But if you're there, you're sitting there within an hour, 2 hour time window, you can definitely get them. And it's another great reason to come in the low season, because if you're in January or February, you can even get them a few days before.
Oh.
So you really can. You might need to be a little bit flexible with the visiting times for the day, but then it's not as tense. For most people that come, it's a once-in-a-life trip. So these are not the things that you want to be disappointed. But, I wish I had.
Yeah.
You need to know these things. Make them a point to book. And Van Gogh Museum, same thing. It sells out 3 to 4 weeks in advance, most months of the year, except for the winter months. Another thing people do not expect, I think, I'm on vacation. I don't want to book everything so strict. You do not need to book everything on the minute, but there are a few things you do need to book.
Yeah.
And those are the big ticket
Big ones.
Like and just all.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much. So all of your links I'll put in the show notes. So for anyone that'd like to get in touch with you, they can do it through the show notes. It's been such a pleasure to have you on. I feel like
it was so much fun talking to you again. It was like 10 already feels a long time ago since we've seen each other.
I know, but I'm hoping that we'll get you on again soon to chat, maybe even about where you live now. And you never know.
No,
again,
it's an undiscovered area of the world.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much again for coming on.
I enjoyed it very much. I hope it was helpful.
Perfect. Thanks.